Welcome back to the Tracy Take. I am your co-host, Tyler, here with my brother, Ryan, and today we are doing the San Francisco 49ers free agency recap. It is 3/28 day, and I'm a Falcons fan, and I am sad. So hit that subscribe button. Help Ryan and I reach our goal of getting to 1,000 subscribers by April 27th, which is the NFL draft date. It's the easiest way to help out the channel and help growing our community. With our 7-round mock draft series we just did, we got over 230 subscribers new to the channel just because of that series. So thank you for them. Join them as well because they are all now certifiably happier being a part of our channel. So we greatly appreciate it. Ryan, let's quit with the ass kicking. The 49ers, what arguably one of the best NFC teams last year. Obviously, they were one of the best NFC teams last year. But what a disappointing way to end the season. You know, they were kind of underdogs already going into Philadelphia, but with how it ended and the QB concerns moving forward, we're going to get into that here in a second. But this offseason so far, very interesting, especially considering like they don't have a single draft pick that is double digits or less. Their first pick is 100.
They have 99.
Oh, I guess another thing it counted forfeited picks. So now I look like a moron. Anyways, okay. Yeah.
You did anyways, but
if you counted forfeited picks, they don't have any picks in the top 99. But so very interesting on how they go about doing it. They lost their defensive coordinator, Demeco Ryans. They have lost Jimmy Garoppolo, who was their kind of veteran quarterback. But it's very interesting, though, because now they have two young quarterbacks with a lot of potential, but coming off pretty serious injuries. So, Ryan, what do you think of their offseason so far?
So it's been fairly interesting. They've lost a lot. So getting into their losses, they lost Mike McGlinchey, Emmanuel Mosley, Hassan Ridgeway, Jimmy Ward, Samson Ebukam, Charles Omenihu, Jimmy Garoppolo, Aziz Al-Shair, and then guard Daniel Brunskill. So losing a lot of pieces.
Did you mention Jimmy Ward also?
I did not mention Jimmy Ward.
Yeah.
Jimmy Ward. Did. Yeah, he's
okay. He's up there. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of people.
No, and that's a lot of people. That's a lot of names to replace. But frankly, if we're talking about teams that have perfected replacing players, the San Francisco 49ers were replacing everybody last year. And so I think coming into this class, they're really into this draft, they're really looking to beef up the offensive and defensive line as well as maybe add some good depth in the secondary. And I'm pretty comfortable saying that based off of who they've re-signed. So they re-signed Deshaun Gibson, Kevin Givens, the defensive interior, and then Jake Brendel, the center, as well as added Javon Hargraves, a pass rushing defensive lineman, Clelin Ferrell, the edge rusher, and then Sam Darnold, the depth piece at quarterback. I think really that raises more questions about their quarterback room than anything. But looking at this draft, I think they're just going to be drafting best player available on the offensive line, defensive line, and in the secondary. And I really like the pieces that they've brought in, actually. I think Sam Darnold, while has struggled, Shanahan has displayed this ability to communicate to quarterbacks in a way that they can operate in his system effectively. Sam Darnold has the physical tools, and last time he played at a team in California, he was pretty damn good at USC. So,
I was to piggyback off of that. I think I have to talk about on 3/28 day how great that Falcons offense was when they made that Super Bowl run, because Kyle Shanahan was the offensive coordinator, as we all know, of that team. And you're right, and this is what he's done in this offensive system. And he made Mr. Irrelevant one of the most popular and best quarterbacks in the league last year, all because of that's a hyperbolic to say one of the best quarterbacks last year. But he looked really good, and he looked like a competent NFL quarterback.
Yeah,
because of the system that he has in place, that he has in place of that offense, with putting Deebo Samuel in the backfield. Now they have Christian McCaffrey, and then the great ability and talent of George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk really stepped up as well. The quarterback now is essentially just a point guard. He's just a facilitator. Yeah. You don't need him to be like a Patrick Mahomes improviser, and he's the best player on the field. You just need that guy to not make mistakes. And to be honest, what we saw with Sam Darnold when he started to come back and was healthy and then played in the latter half of the season with the Carolina Panthers, we actually saw that Panthers offense improve a little bit compared to when it was Baker Mayfield or PJ Walker. A lot of it was because he was just a facilitator. The only issue was is he didn't really have too many people to facilitate to.
Yeah, and he has so many people to throw the ball to in San Francisco. And so I think that was a really smart move by them. Javon Hargrave takes his pass rush that was already just disgusting to another level, because not only now do you have to worry about Nick Bosa collapsing from the edge, you might not be able to step up in the pocket really against this 49ers defense. And that's just terrifying to think about.
And that's where it's like losing guys like Jimmy Ward or losing guys like Aziz Al-Shaair as well, like guys like a little bit deeper into the defensive scheme. I don't think it's going to be as big of a hit because their front pass rush is so great and so effective. And then you still have guys like Fred Warner that are there as well in the linebacking position. So I think that it is I think that they are probably about the same compared to what they were at talent-wise as of last year.
Yeah, and I think all they're going to do, we can kind of start moving over into what we think they're going to do in the draft, is just add depth at some of the positions that they lost, right? So like the defensive line might be lacking a little bit of depth at the edge and defensive interior positions, as well as in the secondary. You lost a safety and a corner, if not a couple of both. So I just think it's, to me, taking best player available. I want to say in the draft we had them taking who was the Andrew Voorhees, the injured guard from USC, who has the length to play outside, probably projects more as a right tackle if he is going to play tackle, but a versatile offensive lineman who I think adds good depth. And then addressing cornerback and the edge position right away. So if you guys haven't checked out that 7-round mock draft for the 49ers, check it out on our channel. And yeah, I just think they're set up really, really well for future success. I think Shanahan has a little bit of that great coach effect where I think they're never going to be really below like 9 wins, no matter how bad the team is. So, well,
he's just he's one of the best offensive minds in the league, and so it is just like, as long as he's the head coach, he's going to figure out a way to exploit your defense, even if it's one of the best defenses in the league. And so, and then with the quarterback situation, it's interesting. We still need to kind of see how severe the Brock Purdy throwing arm, the UCL injury is, and how much of an effect it's going to have on his career. Because I honestly think, one, he's cheaper right now than Trey Lance. I don't know what the cap hit would be, but they could also get draft capital in return if they traded him and wanted to go with Brock Purdy. Because I know Trey Lance only played a game and a half really before he broke his ankle, but at least with Brock Purdy, what he provided. I mean, he had 8 to 10 great games.
I would say great, but he had 8 to 10 games as a starting caliber quarterback in the NFL.
I mean, would you say he would have performed better than Jimmy Garoppolo? I mean, I think he looked better than Jimmy. He moved better
I would say
than
it was
Jimmy
about
Garoppolo.
as Jimmy Garoppolo. But Jimmy Garoppolo's been in the league for 10 years.
True. And so now Brock Purdy, that was only his first year.
Yeah.
So he can improve off of that. So if they want to go with Trey Lance, then I totally get that. You spent a lot of draft capital on him to go get that pick, which I would totally get if you want to get him. But that being said, though, with his injury history, and I think you could get some draft capital in return if you want to move on from Trey Lance. So it's an interesting dynamic. I'm very curious to kind of see how the summer pans out and how Sam Darnold does as the starting quarterback, because it seems like he might be the guy that actually takes the week 1 snaps.
Yeah, no, and I think he sets the floor for this room. I also think he is a little bit of a dark horse to potentially be the week 1 starter, like you said. So especially if both these guys are still rehabbing or they deem Trey Lance not ready to start. Yeah. So I think it's really interesting what the 49ers have going on. Leave a comment down below on who you think is going to be the starting quarterback for the 49ers come week 1. And let's go ahead and wrap up this offseason review for them there. Again, if you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe and help Tyler and I reach that 1,000 subscriber goal by the NFL draft. And other than that, we will see you guys next time.